Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Most men successful with women stay in their lane. This is very key because look, let's just be real. Many men want a woman who's quite frankly out of their league. Now, I ain't one of these people give you like some bullshit about, oh yeah, hit out of your league and everything. Most men ain't gonna do it. Most men ain't gonna do it unless you an alpha showpiece. That's your best shot. If you're not an alpha showpiece, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You know, there's always this talk about looks and, and I definitely talk about body build. Oh yeah, if you got all that, oh yeah, you can think about it, but let's be real. Most men are average looking. Most men are, quite frankly, average, but most men can be successful with women, whether it's as being a player, multiple women, or just a man just finding that one quality woman to build with. Because let's be real, most men ain't trying to be players. And even then, you still got to know where you're hunting at. You still got to stay in your lane. And one of the issues I'm seeing, too many men, especially those who are unsuccessful with women, seem to act like all these women are the same out here. Well, other than having a vagina, no, there are differences. And I don't mean just the superficial differences such as their race or something like that, or even their looks. Because when I say lane, you got to think about it. Because you got to think, okay, what social class are you in? And I've talked about social class several times. I'm going to stick on it. I'm going to be talking about it more because that makes a big difference. Like even in these smash or pass videos now, yeah, I talked about them and everything. But if you really look at them, they represent a certain social class. Would they have the same reactions or women react the same way if you had a bunch of clean cut church boys lined up, or a bunch of women, they goody girls? Would it be the same thing? But you got some guys, they don't have all that streetwear, they don't have that drip or something. They are church boys, or they educated or something, or they're bougie. They don't have the tats and all of that. But you know what? The women who, got the eyelashes, and, all of this tats and all of that, certain speech intonations, that's just not their lane. And you got some guys on that educated level, on that bougie level, that's their lane. You got some guys, that's one thing. Could be the religious thing. I've mentioned several times about a young friend of mine, very pretty young lady, but a guy to step to her, he had to be in that guy who's going to be in church like 3 days a week. And you got a lot of church boys out there, or they real religious, or any guy who's really in tune with his spiritual path. He could be, Christian guy, could be a Muslim, Hebrew Israelite. I got a cousin who's a Hebrew Israelite, and the woman he's with, very pretty young lady, but she's, she's in his lane. Because what a man is smart, he's going to deal with a woman who can relate to him. See, that's the thing. When I say in their lanes, I mean his lane. Because a man, he has to be dominant in his lane. He has to be dominant in his lane. It's his world. It's the things he likes. He worked hard. If he's a guy, okay, like say a high value man. There's a lot of talk about a high value man. A high value man ain't getting some woman who's like on some ratchet stuff, no matter how like good she might look otherwise. That's not his lane. His lane is a more educated woman, a more higher class woman. That's his lane. Or a man who's blue collar. He's more down to earth and everything. Type got the, nice house, barbecue on weekends and stuff. Some bougie woman who wants to go to some wine events is not really his lane. But if he's smart, he get that woman who gonna be, while he on the grill, she bringing the food out to him and stuff. And then sitting down playing spades or something with the guests they have there being loud. There ain't gonna be some hoity-toity thing, like some bougie people might do. but that's their lane. And your lane, your lane's going to include your class. Your lane is going to include your subculture. Your subculture. Like say your subculture is being, like if you're in a black community, in particular, then that's just one example. Say your subculture is more, into holistic living and veganism and stuff. Okay, so you that type, shoot, like people talking about these vaccinations, you like, shoot, you just go get some herbs or something. You ain't thinking about the vaccinations. And, you eat only vegan food. A woman who want to go to Ruth Chris and is getting shot up every other week for different things, and that's not your lane. Yeah, she fine and everything, but that's not your lane. You need to be, a man need to think, which woman fits into his life, his program. And I've said several times, a woman is the commercial to a man's main program. Indeed, the woman, she wants the man who leads. You get a lot of men who want the women to submit. But see, she is in submission to your mission. And your mission, you in a certain class, you in a certain group, you in a certain racial group. That woman has to fit into it. It's not even about being out your league or anything. It's about being in your league. And the men who are successful, they know it. So when they go and talk to a woman, they ain't thinking, oh, she fine and stuff. Oh, what can I do to convince her? They looking at the woman and say, does she fit into my plans? Now I'm saying this is either the players or whatever. Or let me go on a bigger level, since a lot of guys get focused on the woman's looks, getting that dime. And to be clear, I don't like using that term. I'll use it for reference, but I prefer just to say attractive women. Because I'm going to be doing a video about attraction and judging somebody else's woman, either this week or next couple weeks. But, the man, he has to think, okay, does she fit into what I want to do? And the smart men, they stay there. They stay there. They don't go out of it. If that he's big in the church or something, shoot, he's looking for that church woman. That man is truly high value. He's a high value, educated professional and stuff. He wants a woman he can take to these business events and everything. He don't try to go outside of it, because what he's going to do with it, you ain't going to get along with that woman. He's about his lane. That's his lane. That's his lane. And I was going to get into that thing about attractiveness. All right. To say the man's a 4, say the woman looks at the man as a 4. And that man know, you know what? He ain't no fashion model. He don't look like all of that. There's many men who they'll chase a 4, and they good with it, especially in the streets. And somebody hit me up privately about that. They say, well, the guys I know, they want the dimes. Okay, that's his group, and that's cool. But you get some guys, they out there. If you actually go out there and talk to people, you'll see some of these guys, they good with a woman who's if they a 4, they know they a 4. They good with a woman who's a 4. In fact, let's just be real out here. Despite all the talk about what's not happening in relationships, a lot of guys, a lot of men and women, they know they average, they good with it. They know they ain't on that money thing. They know they making just enough. They know they working class. They find somebody in that lane and they good with it and they happy. Contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of happy couples out here. And the one thing I peep, they stay in their lane. If they somebody who say, you know what, they overweight, and they they'll go to like a restaurant or something, got their menu, and they looking at waiter come, and they look at the waiter and say, hey, I want page 2. And it's like, well, what do you want on page 2? I want the whole page. They good with it, because they'll be with a woman who look just like this. Shoot, she want page 3. And they good with it, because they stayed in their lane. Because ultimately it comes down to, you need to be with somebody who makes you happy. And part of her making you happy, y'all need to share the same values. That's your lane, Because like I said, and I don't talk about the religion part enough, but let's be real, a lot of men, you know, like I mentioned earlier, they could be Christian, Muslim, Hebrew Israelite, you know, Buddhist. They want somebody on that same thing, and that's reasonable. That's their lane. They want somebody in their social class, certain level of education and everything. Now, I know I come on here, I do my car videos, and I'll have a certain speech intonation, but actually the women who are more in my lane tend to be the more educated types, you know, particularly women who are Alpha Kappa Alpha women, AKAs. That tends to be I click with them the best. That's because I got more to me going on, but I'm complex. But that's my lane. I'm not really good with like those ratchet women who, you know, got their like, you know, weaves, colorful hair and everything. I can get along with them, but they're gonna look at me like, oh no, not you. You know, unless I be quiet. If I start talking to them, they realize, oh, this dude out of my league. You know, I don't got those tats or earrings or anything. And I'm good with that. That's not my lane. You know, and all men need to do that. All right. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Seriously, don't get caught up in trying to go outside of your lane, because that's not who you are. Your lane is who you are. All right. So that's all I got for today, y'all. Get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.